Got it.
Resent it, dude.
No, I'm good. I got it. This is like a really big, wide picture. It's a 3, right? The memes, and the triple memes. Oh, the fan is separate? That's a new one?
That's my Haku fan. I forgot to put it in the regular.
I see. Well, that's pretty juicy.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got? We have a Kanna.
Oh, and what is it? The emblem I re-rolled yesterday. So it's two map lines, one IED.
2 magic attack, 1 IED?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay. Alright, let's see. What is your current goal? What are you aiming for?
Trying to get to contributing to like normal lucid runs.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm just struggle partying Lomian. I'm not that useful yet in it, but I got the bind, so that's whatever. And then I want to be able to solo Sivo. Right now, honestly, I think it's just mechanics that's stopping me from soloing it.
Okay.
So I can do the other 3, but again, I want to be able to carry guildies and CRA, stuff like that.
Okay, I see. Right, so the main 2 things that kind of struggle with is crit rate and IED. That's what
100%.
That's what you lack
100%.
like a lot, especially if you're trying to be the damage dealer and like carry your own weight. And not do it through just, knowing the boss mechanics in and out, having your domain max, knowing where to put all the barriers, do all the callouts, perfect binds, everything. If you also want to dip into the damage, then your critical rate and your IED is where it needs your most attention.
Yeah, I'm at 87 now with the line on my emblem, so that's all right.
Yeah, on IED, right? Yeah, that's why that one line on an emblem is always very, very welcome, especially on Kanna. Let's see. And crit rate, especially in the beginning, comes a lot from link skills.
Yeah, I'm working on links as I go, but again, some characters I just hate leveling up to 140.
Yep.
Getting Xenon because I wanted just to all stat. Xenon was probably the most brutal one I have ever done. I hate Xenon with a passion.
Yep. Some classes just not gonna be your cup of tea.
Yeah.
That's why they have so many, right? So that some of them hopefully will be.
Yeah, Luminous sucked until 100 as well. 100%.
Yeah, I heard a new Lumi, like the pre-quests are kind of weird. You just get like shit out the pre-quest area and then you're kind of like wandering around and
yeah.
You can't do much because you need a secondary or something. I don't know. There was some weird stuff I was hearing.
Yeah, I skipped the whole thing. As soon as I hit level 10, which is like when you make the account, I just went straight to golems. And then just bought the secondary from the street vendor.
Yeah, that sounds about the way to go. Alright, so let me look at the gear specifically. So you're working on some event rings. You got 2.
Yeah, I got 2 right now, and I'm like focusing mainly on Mesa Obtain on rings right now because I want to buff up my other gear first. So I got my 2 pieces right now, but I'm not like heavily focused on cubing them. Just like whenever I have extra money. Like I've farmed up around like 10 builds that I have in my storage right now.
Wait, one has drop rate, right, for the ring? Oh, and has both.
One has
shit,
item
that's
and
nice.
Mesa. So.
That means you're gonna have to get an extra ring.
Yeah, and then my inner ability is also focused on item drop rate, buff duration, Mesa Obtain.
Yeah, no, that's pretty solid for early on for sure. That's really good inner ability. It's pretty much what I have on my arc as well still. If you don't have to rely on attack speed +1, going for item drop rate and Mesa Obtain is just really, really, really helpful.
Yeah, and then with gear, a couple of things changed from the pictures that I sent you, just because I was watching one of the gear progression videos yesterday. Subani's pendant's out of there, and I got a new pink bean cup with like 6% all stat.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, because I noticed the flame on the pink bean cup wasn't the best.
Yeah. Again, but with like flames, like forget, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, we can
flame
go into
score,
that.
all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we can go into that if you want, because for Kanna it's pretty complicated. I made a specific, like a specific breakdown for Kannas, because it gets really complicated for Kannas. Oh, we got a big dono coming in.
This is because I love your content and also want a progression session. Laughing face.
Another progression session. Put it on the list. Where's my secretary? Okay. Yeah, Flamescar. Okay, so that's what we need to go into. Oh, what did you switch your pennant with? With a Mechanator or?
Yeah, Mechanator. I have the recipe for Dominator's pendant. I just don't have the, what is it, accessory crafting.
Yeah, you need 5 primals as well to make it. I don't know if I would like advise to do that. It's very
it's over time sort of thing I'll work on.
Yeah. I noticed you got the Sweetwater earrings. Did you get them because people talk about them, or do you have like a specific plan for them?
Guild said best in slot earrings. I got trolled, didn't I?
A little bit. So the problem with best in slot is I don't like throwing that around too much, because something can be best in slot, but it usually only becomes best in slot if you have all the other stuff that goes with it, and because there's like some things are just objectively better than everything else, and then you kind of like fill in the gaps with whatever is the best that is left over at that point. But that does mean that those items are not necessarily the strongest items for those slots for everyone in every scenario. So you kind of work up to them, but it doesn't mean that they're just blanket always the best to get. So the reason that the Sweetwater earrings can become the best in slot and were up to a certain point is because you can transpose the Meister earrings into them, and then you can get good flame stats transposed through using transposing onto them, and they get extra bonus stats. And because they're Sweetwater, you can get extra backups with the arrows, and that kind of can guarantee you that eventually you can get high Star Force on them. So it's high Star Force, high tier because level 160, flames get transposed over, and increased bonus stats because of transposition. And all of that combined made them desirable because you didn't need the superior earrings to fill up the 4 set bonus for superior, because the set bonus for superior, that's one of those things that you lock in like brain dead, because that's 30% ID, 30% boss. Like on 4 set, that's always what you want. So that's why the Sweetwater earrings were like the go-to, and that's why people are mentioning those. If somebody just tells you like, hey, this is best in slot, it's always good to ask like why and when, because a lot of people you'll probably see ask in the chat like, what is better? Is Absolute better or is Fafnir better? It always depends on how well it's upgraded and what are the other things you have, right? It's never one thing is always better than the other thing. Is it a fully upgraded Abzo hat versus like a clean Fafnir? Well, then the Abzo is better. Is it a fully upgraded Fafnir hat versus a shitty Abzo hat? Well, then probably the Fafnir is better, right? It always depends on what kind of money you're going to throw at it, what are the other things you already have, and to which extent is it upgraded.
Yeah.
So that's why I do these things, because I look at things holistically and look at all the things you have, so to make the puzzles fit. Because if you have 2 or 3 items that could be eventually best in slot, but everything else is nowhere near there, then you might actually be doing yourself a disservice by already having the items. So, in short, yeah, you kind of got trolled, yeah.
I see.
A little bit. But you do have 20% intellect on there, which is, considering all your other potentials, is still like a juicy amount. I noticed that you have some...
Is that transferable?
Well, so you have already...
to like a new set of earrings that like I'm going to be using, or is that not a thing? Because I have no idea like about transfer hammers.
There's like no, since already once... So transfer hammer is when you... You basically transfer some of the stats in like a certain way that I can explain from one item to a higher level one. And since the earrings are already level 160, that's not an option.
Okay, so they're throwaways.
At this point, they're just going to be the earrings that you keep. They're still going to give you a lot of damage because of the 20% intellect, but you're eventually going to move out of these, yeah. But not immediately, because if I look at all the other stuff you have, it's not like the first thing that you want to get rid of or anything.
Yeah, of course.
So they'll definitely be good for now. Okay, that being said, part, and you get the Foxwood glasses. Those are the actual Foxwood glasses? Okay, cool. I think my mom uses those as well. She likes how they look. Like, maybe make her character look weird.
Yeah, to be honest, like, I'm looking at the Sweetwater stuff, and I just see minus. So I'm like, I'm not about minus.
Exactly.
But I know obviously I need to like, pot it, Star Force it, all that.
Yeah, but that's a good first response, because in the beginning everything is visible damage, right? So you can just look at the attack minus. After a while, the set bonuses start coming into play, and that's when, if it's boss damage or IED or stuff like that, then even if the attack is minus, your damage output could go up because of the calculations with those numbers.
Yeah. So with the Sweetwater accessories a set? Because whenever I like right click over a Sweetwater like item,
no, they have no set bonuses. Yeah, they're like nope. And that's why, to a large extent, I advocate for people keeping the aquatic letter eye accessory and the condensed power crystal. Yeah, because those have set bonus, and because they're considered boss items, and the Sweetwater items are not considered boss and don't have a set bonus, so they can be better, but you have to slam a lot of money into them before they actually do get better. And they kind of and that comes back to what I was explaining with the Sweetwater earrings, is they can be best in slot, but it's not because those items become best in slot that by just getting them ASAP and ticking the box, that means that you're now set or something. There's a lot more that goes into it. Okay, so right now you have boss accessory set. Welcome back, Tom. And wait, who subbed before? Dementio. Also, thank you very much for the sub, dude. Welcome, guys. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you have the 6 set bonus now. So that's going to go down to 5 when you switch the ring for an event ring.
Yeah. I'm going to get the chaos ring. I'm just working on like symbols nodes first.
Yeah. I
got all of those packages first when it was 30% off.
Yeah, you got to be working on everything at this point, right?
Yeah.
Did you already buy the packages this week?
I had no idea they have like weekly resets.
Yeah, the boxes have weekly resets.
I thought it was like it said remaining like 5.
Yeah, it doesn't say it on the item, but they do reset weekly. But this week you want to buy them on Sunday, because then we have the sale. And if there's no sale on Sunday, then you can buy them. They reset from Wednesday to Thursday, just like the weekly bosses do.
Yeah, let's see.
So that'll give you some extra access, especially further into the event once you start getting up to 500 coins a day just from the points, and then the extra stuff. It'll be swimming in coins later, so it's good to keep spending them.
That's the plan. I'm not definitely not saving up, that's for sure. I spend it every time. Yeah. But I don't spend on cosmetics, so like forget it.
Yeah, just all effective. Okay, so the emblem is now 2 lines attack with a line of ID, so that's like done.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I'm going for like triple primes on it, but like later end game.
Yeah, that's way down the line. This is the fan you're using as your main. Okay, you got a line of ID and a line of boss. That's probably useful now.
Yeah, the first line's kind of trash, but like the other two, for what I'm doing right now, is useful for bossing.
I mean, especially since that line is not even like that could be like an MP line or something. So I mean, it's
it's not terrible, but it's not good.
No, it's definitely not like amazing. No. Okay, the flame seems pretty good too. What is the flame tier on the Sweetwater here? Plus 58. Ooh. Do you know if there's any magic attack in a flame there?
I would have to log in and check.
Yeah, no. Excuse me. Okay. The one thing. Okay, so yes. Okay, so I can explain transposing and how that will be useful. I can explain transfer hammer, and I explain the flames to you. So you had like 10 bill now, is what you said?
Yeah, like around 10 bill, maybe a little bit over.
Okay. Kind of looking at everything. Oh, 72 ent on the belt. That's nice. And some HP. So the first thing, are you aware of like the HP MP scaling and everything with Kanna, how that works?
Not really.
Okay, so for every all right, so you don't have mana like the traditional mana, you have your own Kanna mana, right? So if you get flat mana, it gets turned into flat HP instead. Okay. If you have percentage MP, it doesn't do anything because there's no MP to multiply because it gets turned into HP before anything happens to it.
Yeah.
So for example, the 110 HP, 110 MP on your condensed power crystal, that turns into HP, and then the HP that you have, and so that includes the MP then that gets transferred, that all gets multiplied by your total percentage HP, and then for every 700 HP you have, you get 1 magic attack back. So there's some scaling there.
Jeez.
So like the 1680 HP you have on the belt, let's say that your total percentage HP is like 100%. So that's possible that it becomes like 3.3k. So divided by 700, that could be almost like 5 magic attack extra. So that makes the belt even nicer, right?
See.
So it doesn't look like, it looks like 72 intellect, but it's actually quite a bit better because like magic attack probably is about 4 intellect worth. So that's probably like a 90 flame score belt. So it's pretty good actually. Actually, that's really good. If you can get that on all of the items of like the similar quality, you're probably gaining like 400 intellect plus value if they all were like equivalent to the belt.
Yeah, sounds nuts.
So with that being said, if you roll intellect, but the other lines are like both HP, that can almost be better than. So let's say you're aiming for 12% intellect or something, but you roll 9% intellect and like 12% HP. That could be as good without you maybe realizing because it helps you scale all the HP you have on everything. And as you get the event rings and everything that come with 2000 HP flat on it, and the Chaos even has 3000 and it has 3000 MP, right? So that's 3000, that's 6000. If that gets multiplied by your 100%, that's 12,000. That could be like 15 magic attack worth.
I see.
That's why the event rings are godly for Kannas, basically, because of the scaling is crazy. Okay, and that goes into the flame score then as well, right? Because you can get flat amounts of HP and MP from your flames, and that's why some flames that maybe look kind of mediocre can actually be quite decent for Kanna, because you have a lot more outs. Most classes is like, well, you got stat, you got all stat, and then maybe attack helps a little bit. And you've got like you got intellect helping you got luck helping you got HP helping you, MP helping you, magic attack helping you, and all stat helping you. So it gets more complicated, but it also becomes a lot more easy to roll an entry level and definitely like a mid-level flame for you, because there's just a lot more outs. But we'll get into the flame stuff and like the numbers. Okay. So if you do, so the goal now is to be able to carry your guildies in CRA and to become damaging a Deuter in Lotus and Damien, right? And Solo Cvel.
The short term is Lomian.
Yeah.
Long term is I want to be able to contribute Lucid.
Yeah, contribute Lucid. Yeah, okay. The main thing for Contribute Lucid is 540 arcane power, max domain, knowing where to put the barriers, and like calling shots on binds. Do you know how to like start domain, charge domain, get all of that maxed, synchronized?
I'm 227 on this character, so I know a little bit.
Okay.
Again, I've only been playing for like 3 weeks, so.
Oh yeah. Well, so rudimentarily, like you put down domain, you activate the snow spirit lady.
Yeah.
And then you just hold down Vanquisher Charm until it's fully charged. When it's fully, you call like when it's fully charged, and you put the big foot down, and then you put a barrier on where the biggest attackers are, basically. And then you just let them do their thing. The one extra thing, so if you have 540 or more arcane power, that's when you get your final damage buff on Lucid. So that's going to be important, but you are working on your arcane power, as I can see. So you're really close to that already.
I'm at 500 right now, and I think I have like a couple of points in arcane force. I'm trying to get to 540 so I can farm CLP.
Yeah.
Like efficiently.
Oh yeah,
I
that's one
also
thing I
upgraded
wanted
twice
to.
yesterday.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to talk about with your hyper stats. I see that you've done like everything up evenly and kind of roughly evenly, right, including your intellect. But intellect is really something that you only put points into if everything else is like if there's no levels to be added anymore to the other stuff, and you just have some left over, and then you put them into magic attack, and then if you have anything left over, you put them into intellect, basically, because the intellect there doesn't get multiplied by your percentages. It's like a flat amount at the end. So there's there's kind of bad efficiency there. So it'll but 6 points together, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1, 2, 4, 8, 10, 15. So quick maths, 1, 2, 4.
And I didn't even max out my mana to like 200.
20,
just cause.
6. So that's 41 points. So I think that's going to be 2% crit rate and 1% critical damage that you could get out of that instead, which will help your damage quite a bit more. But yeah, the main thing for critical rate is like Beast Tamer Link, Archer Link, Phantom Link. Like you need to just full on pump the critical rate and getting decent sharp eyes, and then that's when you're probably going to be reaching 100% only if you have all of those things on. And that's when your critical damage is going to start coming in. The other thing is your gloves right now have 23% intellect, which is really nice for your range, but it's not good for your damage. You'd rather have critical damage.
That was just kind of like a lucky thing. Like I had leftover cubes from doing my emblem.
I see.
I just tossed it all onto the gloves, and then I got it. I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but like in the to bear in mind where you were talking about like the attack plus is nice and attack minus is bad, but like critical damage doesn't go into your range, right? So it'll look like your range is going down quite a bit, but as long as your critical rate is up to 100%, your damage will go up a lot if you hit critical damage. If you can hit critical damage and a line of intellect or something, that'll be really good. End game, you go for 2 lines of crit damage or some crazy 3-line shenanigans, but that's like way out there.
So I can go crit damage or crit rate on my gloves?
It can only get crit damage. It cannot get crit rate.
Crit damage, okay.
The only thing that can get crit rate, I think, is your weapon secondary, and I think your emblem can get crit rate. But you don't want it there, no. It's just got there. You already have a lot of sources in that. You'll also get critical rate once you level up a Night Lord and a Marksman, for example. If you get 2 of those, if you get those 2 to level 200, I think you get 8% out of that, which is also quite nice. Yeah. Let's see, your shoulder's really nice. You got the set, so you're dropping the set bonus. Your shoes good enough for now, for sure. Pants are good. See, the pants are really nice. You got 9% intellect and 3% HP, so that's actually scaling very nicely. Top is good for now. That's why your ring is so painful. The 20% mezzo with 21% MP, because like if that was HP, that would at least be doing something, but now it's just doing nothing besides the mezzo.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-roll that for sure, but like, I'm leaving it as is for now until I get my gear up so I can like one-shot CLP maps, stuff like that.
Yep.
Just efficient farming is what I'm going for.
Yeah, I like that approach in general, going for the focusing on the mezzo obtain first, and then because you'll just make the money back. But eventually, I will advise to at least have like 1 line of mezzo obtain or drop and a line of intellect along with it, because it's because it's 9 equips. If you get 9% on all of them, that's 81% intellect. That's just up for grabs. Not double lining it, of course. That's like that's very min maxy again, and then it becomes inefficient again because then you're farming to keep farming. Like, it doesn't really feed the purpose that much. Okay. Yeah. I believe you can do that with your current equips mostly. Like the event rings are gonna help a lot. You will keep the 5 set bonus, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we'll keep the 5 set bonus. Fox with glasses. Yeah. You got the earring. If you switch the fox with glasses for one of the eye accessories, so if you got the Populatus, you got the pink bean ones, or one of the pink bean ones, and you got the aquatic leather eye accessory, and if the earring got switched, you would unlock the 7 set bonus. But I'm checking if that's worth it.
I have the will-o-wisp thing in my inventory right now, and it's like a 9%.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, okay, unlocking an extra tier of the boss set is nice. It's a 10% IED, 10 attack, 10 loss. I don't think that's worth it, because then you have to spend all the money that you already spent on your current earrings again to get like the little bit of set bonus back. If the set bonus doesn't account for that, then I don't like spending a lot of money just to gain a little bit if eventually all of it is going to get replaced anyway. Like, I think it's very inefficient, so I won't advise you to do that.
So like what I can do is whenever I'm doing boss, I'll throw in the Will-O-Wisp for the 7 set effect for the extra 10% IED, and then I'll just use these for whenever I'm farming.
Yeah, but the thing is, once you switch your event rings, that plus this earring, that's still going to be better. Because you're going to have way more HP, MP, and then the set bonus is going to get fucked anyway.
The boss set?
Yeah, so you'll replace you'll keep this earring, and you're going to replace the Silver Blossom ring with your, like, the Chaos ring, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to switch both of those for the extra set bonus. That's not going to be worth it for you. So there's no worth in like investing in those things, I would say. Okay, so event rings, cup. So we can go into transfer hammering, transposing, and flaming, I guess, because that's generally gonna. Yeah, you already got your stuff to 15. You're keeping an eye on the events on what to Starforce when. I'm guessing you're just gonna go 17 on most of your stuff during 5, 10, 15, and saving the rest for cubing. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a good idea. Okay, so transfer hammering. The idea behind transfer hammering is that we don't have trade, so what you can do with an item after you're kind of done with it is transfer some of the qualities of it to the next item that you're going to be using after it. In the lower levels, you can skip up to 20 levels of item, and then the higher levels only 10 levels, so you can go from 100 to 110, 110 to 120. The jumps in between also count, so you could go from 120 to 125, for example, and from 125 to 130. The main reasons Transfer Hammer are really nice is because Absolab items take forever to gather. You got to go through all of the weeklies over and over and over. So the main thing is, the way I like to do it is, like, if you get your Abso to 17, and that's fine, and you just save up a boatload of money, you wait until there's a good event, and then you get level 150 items that you can gather through doing Madman Ramaru, or through other means. Like, for example, you get the Chaos Sakum Cape, you can buy the Root Gloves, you can buy the Root Shoes, and there's probably some exceptions that I forgot right now.
Root Shoes are the blue runes? You get 150 stuff, or is it the green ones?
It's the same. So you can just buy them with like a low amount of green coins or with like a higher amount of blue coins, but they are the same thing. Similarly with the Root Gloves, you can buy them with the easy and normal Magnus coins for like a large amount, or like a small amount. I think only 1 coin of the Magnus, hard Magnus drops. And since Tyrants are kind of like out of the mode, you probably have access to a lot of those there as well. So they're pretty bad items by themselves. They don't have like set bonuses. They have shitty flames. They're not boss. But the main thing is you have infinite supply, or near infinite supply, and they are transfer hammering fodder into Abso. So typically what I like to do is, either already go for Abso and then 17 and wait there, and then just save up a chunk of money, just buy a bunch of those, or however many you need, and then go up to something like 20 or 21 stars, and then transfer hammer into the Abso, and then recube the Abso. And because I have that in the back of my mind, because I don't want to do a bunch of weeklies all the time and to get a bunch of extra Abso, so I also don't really min-max my potential on my Abso yet, because I know it's going to have to be recubed later anyway if you go for transfer hammer. Because if you transfer hammer, so it transfers the amount of stars -1. So that's why I like to go for 21, because it consumes 1 and then you stay at 20, and 20 is a safe amount, right? You can drop below 20. So that's why I like 21 a lot. You could also go for 22 and then just stick to 21 Abzo. However, getting from 21 to 22 is about a 1 in 3 chance of losing your item. And just going from 20 to 22 in general is about a 50-50 of blowing up your stuff. Whereas 20 to 21, compared to the whole 20 plus area, is the most risk-free you're going to get. So that's usually what I do, and then just get to 20-star Abzo. And I think most people in the game getting 20-star Abzo, or maybe, like sneakily trying to get to 21 and hopefully not blowing up your stuff, is probably the end game for most people playing this game these days anyway.
No, forget that. My luck is stupid. I spent $2 to get one item from 10 to 15.
$2. That's impressive. During a sale too, probably.
Yeah, it was 30% off, and the no boom room, which is so no destroys.
Oh, dude, I think I did that on my Ghost Ship Exorcist badge on my Marksman. I didn't even need to Star Force it, but there was no boom, and there was 30% off, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do it. And I think I spent $2, yeah, just getting it to 15. It's so painful.
What's even more crazy is like once I got 15, I said, screw it, let's get one more to 16, just cause I was done with it. I was rage.
It's like if it blows up, then it was meant to be.
Yeah, that's the only reason why my Fafnir fed right now is 16.
So the other thing Star Force does is it does not transfer your flame over. It keeps the flame of the target item. So what's really cool is if you make a bunch of flames, you can already throw those on your Abzo gear and get nice flames on the Abzo beforehand. You can, if you don't have the Abzo gear beforehand, you can use the lower level fodder gear and Star Force them during an event, if there's an event, but you don't have access to the Abzo yet. So you can do like some of the pre-work. And at the point where you transfer hammer, you don't lose your target item flame. And what it also does is it transfers the potential, but only up to epic. So that's why you're going to have to recube eventually, because even if you have a legendary Abzo, you transfer hammer high stars, any kind of potential into it, it's going to go down to epic.
I see.
So if you find like 50% E-pots that are temporary, you can always throw them on there as well, so that it transfers at least epic over, so you can start from epic and don't have to start from rare. So that's why transfer hammering is really good and can be very useful if used strategically.
Yeah, what about souls for a weapon? The one I have on right now is just like a magnificent one I got like this weekend. But I have like Clever Magnus, I got Crimson Queen, I got some other one. It's like 24 int, 6 magic attack. I don't know, is that better than the mag pink bean I have on right now, or should I be just keeping it as is?
It's going plus 10 attack. Honestly, if you don't have a magnificent double S, I would just keep what you have right now.
Okay.
You know about the tiers and the souls and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, if you get a magnificent double S, try that. And then at least probably the summon is already going to be better. And then even if the buff is shit, at least if you get critical rate, that could be useful. If you get IED, you can use that. Boss damage you can use. Like, there's a bunch of outs there again for you as a Kanna, because you can use everything quite a bit. So it's like super useful all across the board. But until then, you can just keep using this one. And I don't think the soul on the secondary counts, so there's no worries with that one.
That was the one I was using before. Like, as I got my new fans, I just...
Yeah, I assumed you'd just change one out for the other and then moved it down.
Yeah.
Yep. But you know all about like the potential and the stats that count for the secondary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the other thing is transposing. Transposing is similar to transfer hammering, but it works a bit differently in some cases. So transposing is also high star force from one item into another one. It consumes one of the star force and it transfers the rest. But transposing is uniquely into Sweetwater items. It can go from items between level 140 and 159 and then into Sweetwater. And that's it. Okay. Like that's pretty restrictive there. Every single attempt has a chance of failing, where transfer hammer is just like 100% success. It just works. Transposing can fail and cost you dineros every single time to try it. And then the other thing is, the other two things, right? The flames and the potential. So with flames, you actually transfer the flames from the source item into the target item, not the other way around like with transfer hammer. So that is why transposing can be very good, and why the earring were considered best in slot, and why now with the switch of the Golex drops, what people would advise is to just get your superior earring up to high star force and instead switch a pendant out from the set, and then go for a dominator pendant with a high flame, 16 stars, and hammer that into transpose that into a Sweetwater pendant. Again, because Sweetwater pendants, you can have a lot of backups, so it's easier to just, when you blow up an item. Have you blown up an item before?
Yep.
And then you get a trace, right? And then you get the same item, you just put the trace on. So because you can get more backups way more easily now for Sweetwater than for Sweetwater than for Superior, you want to have your backups be costing dineros rather than costing Helix runs and 700 coins in the Golex shop, because that's just insane right now. So because of that, and the other thing, so for the potential, it does transfer your potential rank all the way up to legendary, but it re-rolls your numbers within the potential rank, so it can completely scramble them.
So it's a half troll.
Yeah.
Troll and you half.
Yeah, basically. It saves you the cost of tiering up, but you still have to roll within the tier. Yeah. So mostly people just keep it epic, or if it goes up to unique, it's whatever. But so what's really shitty is some people are like, well, I get it to legendary because then if I transfer, I get a free roll. But there's also a risk that you get it to legendary and you get the roll you want, and then when you transfer it, you lose your roll. So that's like the same chance. So there's no gain there whatsoever. Yeah, so that's why. And the one hidden bonus for transpose is that your bonus stats when you go from 15 to 16, which includes all stat and weapon and magic attack, that one gets saved when you transpose, but you get it again when you when you star force again. So you double dip on those, so you basically make your item average stats higher, and that also gets saved on the trace if you blow it up. So you gain like 10 all stat and like 10 weapon magic attack around there when you transpose. So that's kind of nice.
Crazy.
Yep. But,
Crazy
it's not because of just that, of course, but because that plus all the other things make it so good. And then the last thing for the flames. Where did I make the flame thing for Kannas? Did I add that to flames? Exclamation mark Kanna flames? Did I make that? I did not.
Yikes.
Oh, Kanna flame is a thing. Oh shit, there you go. See, my fucking mod knows my flames better than me. Yeah, here it is. So it's super simple. Yeah, you just read this. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So do you know about the general flame score?
Nope.
Okay, so because there's a lot of tiers and a lot of levels, and there's good and bad items, if you see a flame, knowing if it's good or bad is very difficult, right?
Mm-hmm. I have no idea. I just see my stat, HP, or all stat, and I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm gonna keep this one.
Yeah. Or you know roughly how much your item gave before in plus, and you reroll the flame. You're like, oh, this is a higher number, so that's better. Let's keep that.
Yeah, I always have up my my range whenever I'm looking for a flame.
So the reason for the flame score is so that you can translate all of the numbers in a flame, so all of the green numbers, into a score, and then you can compare basically all the scores with other items, and then you can immediately tell, is this score good enough? Can it be better? Is it better than something else? And is it therefore better to first flame the other item instead to get higher efficiency out of my flames? Or should I keep flaming this item?
Yeah.
And the score would be, the attempt for the score is to be the equivalent of how much main stat is all the flame score worth together. Like how much intellect is this worth? Is basically what the goal of the flame score is. So if you had a flame with like a plus 100 intellect, or you had one with plus 30 luck and plus 3000 HP and 2000 MP and 5 magic attack and whatever, and like a bunch of all stat or something like that, if that would equate to 100 as well, if you calculate the flame score, they will look the same and you would know that they're roughly equivalent. But if you just look at the item and you don't know the flame score, it's like, what the fuck is going on? There's just It's just a bunch of numbers.
Every single time I look at an item.
What the fuck? Exactly. So once you get to those numbers in your head and you're like, oh, this counts for this much, this counts for this much, you can very quickly see like, oh, this one is way worse than what I had. Okay, I got to reflame. Or, oh, this one's way better. I got to save this, and now I got to move over to the next item. So this will help you get like a certain order within all of your equips. So you can know which ones need the most work and which ones are already safe, and you can just not worry about those at all. So how good a flame is, how much you value the stats in the flames kind of depends on how much you already have of the stat. Like if you had 1,000,000 attack and your flame gave +2, then that wouldn't really account for much. But if your total attack is only like 100 and you gain 2 on an item, that's actually a significant amount. So as you switch through from the mid game to the late game and the end game, the values kind of change because your access to stats changes. For example, if you start star forcing past 15, you get a lot of extra weapon attack. And therefore the value for a weapon attack kind of goes down. But you gain a lot of stat also, so therefore the power of percentage stat goes up.
I understand.
So for now, you're going to be aiming for the mid and the late game because you're going to be like Party Lucid and Solo Lotus Damien and Solo Seaval and carry people CRA, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe not Solo Lotus Damien, but like duo probably. Maybe trio or something like that.
Yesterday I trioed it.
Yeah, okay, nice.
So getting useful.
So we're trying to... let's see, the purpose of the flame score is to be able to compare flames to equal footing. The flame score unifies all the damage sources by expressing them in main stat values. So for Kanna, it's intellect. The flame stats are the green numbers on items. So we're unifying everything towards intellect. So 1 intellect is 1. 1 luck counts for 1/8. So if you only have like 10 or less luck, you pretty much don't count it. But if it's like a chunk of 40 luck, you can start counting that because it does translate to some damage. Magic attack will count as a 4, and all stat will count as an 8. So you can use this on other stuff as well. So if you see that, for example, 1 point in your Legion will give you either 1 magic attack or it'll give you 5 intellect, you'll see now that if you put that in intellect instead, that's worth more, right?
Yeah.
Because it's 5 versus 4. So that's how you see that the general value is shifting between the stages of the game. Because in the very beginning of the game, you have like no magic attack. And every single magic attack you gain just makes your range go up like crazy. But that shifts further in the game as your sources of damage change. So all stat counts for 8 because it's just really good, and the amount of stat we get in this game is ridiculous. And it goes into like 8.5, 9. For some people, it even goes close to 10. It gets kind of crazy. So if you roll a bunch of percentage all stat on your items, that scales very well into the later and the end game. That's why a lot of people just love getting all stat on their stuff, basically. And then HP and MP. So that one is kind of confusing, but it comes down to it's 1 divided by 175 times your HP modifier. Okay. So, and the modifier is how much HP you gain after you equip an item that has HP or MP on it, divided by how much HP or MP is on it. So let's say you have an item and it just has a line, well, we can go down, but the only thing you have to make sure is that the item has no HP percentage or plus HP, MP, or HP percentage on the potential or the set bonus, right? Because then your number changes with it, and then it becomes kind of tricky to see if that number is the number that you're looking for. So that's when I gave you the example before of the Chaos Ring that gives you a bunch of MP and a bunch of HP. That item has no set bonus, and as long as the potential doesn't have any percentage HP, that could be a good item to test this with, for example. So you have an example, item has 1800 HP and 2000 MP and has no HP, blah, blah, blah. And the HP difference you get between wearing it and not wearing it is 12,000. So you put the 12,000, the difference, you add the sum below, and then you see that your modifier is 3.16. So you put the 3.16 back here. So you divide the 3.16 by the 175, basically, if you like. I don't know what level of math you're used to. but it's like dividing a fraction, multiplying a fraction with a number. So you put the number on top of the fraction, you still divide it, and then you multiply it with however much HP MP it is, and then you get your value.
Yeah, I got it.
And then this is the value that you, basically the target flame score is what you're looking for. So flame advantage items, and the items without flame advantage, these are the numbers you're looking for. And these are so you can evenly, then you can start evenly comparing the flame scores of the items together. The only difference there is that the different levels still have level items still have access to different amounts within the tiers that you roll on the flames. So I basically put all the items before level 120 as a separate number, the items between level 120 and 150, which is going to be a lot of your stuff, and then just 160, which is just basically only Abzo.
Yeah.
And then these are the flame scores that you want to aim for, basically.
I see. Maple Story is back up for those in chat.
Yeah, I got my Kanna AFKing for points. Gotta get that good stuff.
Okay, then I only have like one more question then.
Yep, sure.
Where do I go with my belt? Like, what gear do I get to replace it? Because obviously the pink beam belt's only like a placeholder.
Yeah, so it keeps up your set bonus now, so that's nice. If you can go if you can get reinforced items from Hardlux, and you can get a 4 set bonus, that would be a replace.
Okay. And do you think I can be doing Hardlux with my stat? I've only ever tried normal, and like I wipe it pretty easy, but.
Let's see, you're at.
Assuming like I know mechanics and all that, because I usually don't get hit by much.
Well, you do have this. You do have easy summons that you can put on the bottom to kill the potato, so that's no problem.
Yeah, that's what I do. I throw Kishin on the bottom, and then I just stay on the top for the whole time.
Yeah. It's probably mainly gonna come down to the eye phase. The eye phase is just really tricky now.
Because whenever I do it on normal, like, I don't even get hit. Most of the time I just resist every attack that he throws.
Yeah, you do have your Kanna shield, which is just like your Haku just protecting you from stuff all the time. The thing is though, if the boss fight runs longer and the boss actually gets to do a bunch more stuff, you'll find that a lot of things are supposed to be killing you as Kanna, but you just don't know because your Haku saves you a bunch. You just ignore a bunch of the mechanics. Yeah, like with Damien, half the time the Kannas are running around with like 1 brand stack because Haku just like blocked 5 of them, and they would actually be dead, but they just keep getting hit, run into everything because they just get blocked. But you know, as long as you always have access to that, then it's fine. You don't have to interact with the boss mechanics then. The problem will probably be like
I'm around 5 mil.
Yeah. I think that would put you in the Hardlux range for sure. Yeah. I think if you ever get your critical rate up though, because that's important, especially for the gem for the final bursts. You want to use your domain for that. One thing you can do, remember, is if you go in and even if you just like pop your domain to get the chin down, and then you can just, as long as you don't have any D stacks, you can just exit the boss fight, just wait for your domain to come back, just pop back in, domain again, get the eye stage done, and then like right before it's done, go out again. And then go back in once domain is back, and then just do like the last stage. You could do it like that as well. It takes some time, of course, because you have to like wait in between the stages, but it can give you a lot more security and just like burst potential every single time. You could just wait outside the map and kind of like scum it like that. if you do try it and you find it still too tricky, or he does some weird shit, then you could resort to that. Because the shield, the gem at the end gets a shield that it can only be hit by critical attacks. So if your critical rate is too low, that might slow you down so much at the end that it might even, because the gem has its own timer.
Yeah, it has a 5-minute timer, I think.
No, I think is it a 1-minute timer? 30-second timer? Like just the gem itself is a very short timer.
Oh shit, yeah.
But it's possible that Hardlux gem isn't hard enough for you for that to be an issue, but Helix might become an issue then. But yeah, at the end it gets a shield where it only gets hit by crit, so that can get tricky.
Okay. I see.
But yeah, try Hardlux. And if you don't get the kill, you don't get to do normal, but it's fine because there's only solid belts and and not even the Helix coins like that you lose. So it's a small price to play now.
No risk, high reward.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, if the flame stuff, if you want to read that over again, that's under !Kanna flame. If you want to read that through that again, I think I went through that a little bit too fast, but
no, I opened it up. I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Look over it while I'm pressing my X button for Exocharm for hours.
Yep.
Anyways, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there's anything, you know where to find me in the chat or in Discord, or other people probably be willing to help out as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. See you, dude.
Later.
Later.